going to be worried about DRM because it's not going to
appreciate
value. We're worried about what we're going to get out of our cash. What's the return on the actual cash is going to be?
So 49.9 means what? We're going to get half our money back in a year if we have it.
Every year that we, because this is not capitalization. This is based on the outflow of money that we have during the course of a year.
Right.
We anticipating getting half of that, half of that money back.
Cash.
In cash.
Cash.
But
cash
now, what this is not. Okay, go ahead. I guess I'm not understanding. The reason I'm not understanding is you're taking the total purchase price, not the amount that we're making payments.
It's not the purchase price. This has nothing to do with the amount of the
15,000. Where is that number?
That is not the 15,000. Is the amount of cash that we have invested. That's what we paid. That's what we gave to, whether it would be closing costs, whether it be.
Do we pay cash for this one?
So in this
okay, that's why. That's why. Okay, all right. That's okay.
Had we had gotten a loan,
you would only include the amount.
$1,000 down payment.
Okay, I'm with you.
You never include a mortgage.
No, it's only the down payment.
It's whatever your actual output of cash is.
Your actual output of cash. Say you wanted to take $18,000 and go to the track with it.
It's whatever you've spent during the course of a year.
Gives you that.
So you do include the mortgage.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything.
Well, that would come out of your net revenue, right? That would come out of the net.
It doesn't matter whether you take it out of the top or take it out of the bottom. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah.
So you would only, and this is not taking into consideration the purchase price. This is what you actually have in it. This is the actual dough that you got out of your pocket
and spent
on this particular property. And it's a ratio.
Whether it's the down payment plus the mortgage amount that you paid during the year, or whether you paid for it in full,
right.
Or if you got it free for 6 months.
Which there's no mortgage payment.
Yeah.
So this is the ratio between that and 49.9%.
That's projected.
That's projected.
Assuming we stay within our budget.
Right. If we stay within our budget, that's why it's very important that we stay within our budget. And if we it's not taking into consideration the GRM, the gross revenue multiplier, because like I said,
well, that has nothing to do with cash.
The cap rate does take into consideration the purchase price, because we're going to have to pay that loan off. By the time the loan is paid off, the property would have paid for itself, and then we would start making money. But we have the rent is paying for that capitalization rate. That is why you do not include the rent or the revenue on the cash and cash return. I don't know if you said we did, but we actually don't.
Oh, like what?
How do you get revenue without counting the rent?
What do you take off gross revenue to get your number of net revenue?
Expenses.
What are the expenses that you've taken?
All expenses. Every dollar that you spend out, it's every dollar you bring in minus every dollar you spend out.
Is that how it works?
Right. Minus the expenses.
So if you did have a mortgage, so you don't include rent, you would take that off your income. You would take that off the. Say you had a mortgage for $100. You were getting $900 a month, and you're paying $100 a month. Would you take $100 off?
Yes, you would.
No, you would. You don't include the revenue on it. You don't include the revenue. You only include
just expenses. Period.
Expenses. Period.
No revenue. Period. What
are
the expenses?
This is you're including
everything that's in the
you have and coming out of your pocket. You don't include what you're getting. Only what's coming out of your pocket, and the expenses are coming out of your pocket without taking into consideration the rent or the revenue. If you start doing that, you're getting the capitalization rate. That's a different expression.
Oh, I think I understand it, and here's what we're basically saying. This is saying, for every dollar that you spent, how many did you get back? That's all this is. That's all this is. So every dollar that you spend would be every expense. That would include anything that you spent, any amount, no matter what the reason is, whether it be mortgage, whether it be a down payment, whether it be a total purchase price, whether it be any dollar that you spend out would be an expense. That would be that's what you're counting. The revenue that you return, that really, if you do it that way, it's pretty easy. It's total income minus whatever you paid out, and the ratio of the total purchase price to that. Is that
right?
Of the amount of money that you spent, rather.
Right. Let's see, 900 times 12 is 10,800.
That's right. 10,800.
10,800. And then out of that, but then there's expenses of 3,600, right?
You can't count it down here because it's not your money.
Well, I mean, I was saying that. You count it there. But somewhere there was 30, you're going to take out 3,600.
You have to, that's right.
To get to 7,200.
Yeah.
So what went into that 3,600?
The 3,600 were the municipal fees,
okay,
the taxes,
management,
that's the utilities.
all those things, right?
Everything that you spend.
It comes out of here, and you can't count the revenue down here because that's not your money.
Right.
You can only count it at the top because that's coming out of the net portion. It comes out of the
so if you were
revenue, because that's not your money.
okay.
So if I'm giving you $450 a month, that's taking
Well,
care of
may I say that the confusion comes from using the word net. That's where the confusion comes from, because if you subtract it, if you have all your expenses on the bottom, then 100% of the revenue would be at the top, which would actually be gross.
What?
My confusion, I'm not saying that I'm right, my confusion is the use of the word net. Net means that you've taken an expense out. Well, really, what you're talking about below the line is your expense.
That was your investment of cash.
Yeah, the 15K is the investment in cash. That's what you have spent out. That's what you have doled out to acquire this property.
Okay.
And then the upper number. Okay.
All right. Then I think I understand what you're saying. You're saying that. So if we had not.
This is all the money you received minus the expenses.
Okay. Is there a reason you couldn't put the expenses on the bottom?
Why would you do that?
Well, I mean 15,000. Let's say you took in 10,000 and your expenses were $3,000. Why is it not 18,000 on the bottom? Does that change the percentage? I don't know if it does. I'm asking. I'm not telling.
Oh, that what you shelled out.
Yeah, that's what you shelled out. It may not be to purchase the property, but it was an expense. I don't know.
The total cash investment.
Let me do the math on it, and I'll tell you something.
The price plus
expenses. What's the difference?
If you did it here, you'd have to. And why would you add it down here?
So that you didn't have to subtract it at the top. You could call it revenue expense. I mean, that makes it simpler, is the way I see it. Instead of,
I think it's the same.
I think it is too. I think it's exactly the same. It's just simpler to say all the income is at the top and all the expenses at the bottom, because that's really all you're doing. It doesn't matter where it comes from. It doesn't matter where you're paying it from.
This is cash on cash.
Yeah, this is how much you're bringing in based on the amount you're putting out.
Very good. I mean, this is a very healthy property.
Yeah, it's a way it sizes up a place. very quickly.
This is what we noticed about this place, that as soon as it's rented, it's really going to take off.
Oh, it's going to be phenomenal.
Once it's rented, it'll...
Yeah.
I looked on Wikipedia, I looked up cash on cash, and it says it's the annual before tax cash flow.
Yeah.
Does that mean don't include the taxes?
It's before income tax.
Income
tax.
Okay.
See, it would be different based on whatever your income bracket would be different from our
But
income
you include
bracket.
the property tax. It doesn't
Right,
say
you
that.
include the property tax.
I think that's
No,
well, we can call it, for our purpose of measurement, we can do anything we want.
Can you write on there that it's
I want to be
Ninth
standard.
Avenue and that what the date is today?
So,
So
I'm not sure what the ratio tells me. Can you explain that again? Like, you said for $1 spent, you get what back?
50 cents back, based on that.
But that's good, because if I give you $1, I want more than 50 cents
But
back.
that's on a yearly basis.
that's for a year.
This is just for a
You're
year.
going to get half your money back.
Next year, you're going to have none of the purchase costs. You're going to have none of the purchase costs and only expenses.
Zero.
Yeah, you're not going to get 100%
I
money back
gotcha.
a year, because if that was true, how we do it all every day.
You'll always have some expense
Yeah.
In the year.
If I give you $1, if you give me $1 and I give you 50% back of it every year, you ever played that game? Where someone says, I'll give you $1,
A penny.
and
I'll double it.
I'll double it, and they say, hey, are you crazy? I don't remember asking that.
Yeah. Give you a double.
What's today, the 9th and the 3rd?
Fourth.
9/4.
But that's what this is calculating. I'm not saying it's not a 50% return on your investment for the year. It's not, I give you $1,000 and, you get $1,500 back. That's not what that means. That's
Now,
not
what property
that's
do
not
you do
what
next?
Well, I'm not done with this. Hang on. So, why would it not be zero at the bottom if we paid it out? We don't have any mortgage. We paid cash up front.
That's what this is measuring, what's your how much cash you spent out.
If we had bought a $300,000 property and we put down $30,000,
It would be only $30,000.
$30,000.
Right. And the top
And
would
as
be
long as you have a mortgage, you would have a number.
In addition to that. What, with 30,000 plus, it's every dollar you spent, regardless. It doesn't matter what the reason was. It makes no difference if you spent $1, it gets counted as that's the cash on cash. That's where this is. These two different cashes. This is cash in or cash out. Either one, it doesn't matter.
And what this is saying is, for every $1 you spend, you get 50 cents back on the first year, or whatever your calculation period is. If it turned out to be 20, you get 20 cents back on the dollar.
Say you had two different properties. One, you had $30,000. Yeah, two people had $30,000, and one of them bought a property for $30,000, and the other one took their money and they put down $30,000 on a $300,000 property. And to make things simple, this is unlikely, but to say they both rented for the same amount. They both rented for
Cash on cash should be the same.
$1,000 a month. If they both rented for $1,000 a month and they had spent $30,000, would the cash on cash be the same?
Yes.
But that's why it's very important.
It's only one measurement. It doesn't mean that you've gotten a good value.
It's only a measurement of how much money you get back for every dollar you invest.
And really what you have to do is put that,
Getting $1 for dollar.
if you put that in a ratio and add this to the total purchase price, and if you had a ratio of that, then you realize how effectively you've used your money. Because the less money we put down, the higher this number is going to be.